Well, hello. Welcome to Facebook Live and Grieving Moms Finding Hope. I'm Lisa Didden. We have Jackie Rose, our leader and founder, and we have a special guest tonight, Daphne Greer from Eastern Oregon. And I probably am saying that wrong. She always says, Jackie says I say it wrong, but I'm from New Jersey. They're from Oregon, but welcome. We want to welcome our wonderful guest here. Sadly, Daphne is part of our group, the club that no one ever wants to belong to, but has overcome this tragedy with, I shouldn't say overcome, but has held on to God's hand and Jesus' hand through this. She's also an author of 3 books. She'll talk about that. And we're just thrilled to have her here and tell us a little bit about her grief journey, a little bit about her beautiful daughter Lydia, and whatever you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear it. And if you're new to this tonight, I have some housekeeping. I'll kind of go over that at the end if you'd like. But we have a retreat coming up in October. Jackie wrote a book. I'm going to give you all the information. Please jot down your name and where you're calling it or tuning in from, because that would be helpful. And
There's
please
4 of them on there.
mention.
We want to
Yeah,
see your comment come in.
mention your child's name. We want to remember them as well and hold space for them as well. Let me just get the one thing with Daphne. If you'd like to just tell us a little bit about Lydia, we'd love to hear that.
Well, let me start off with
Okay.
her intro. Welcome,
All right.
Joanna, nice from Nebraska. Thanks for being here. So, because she's got this beautiful story and all the things she's done, Daphne is a mother of 5 with one precious daughter in heaven
Mhm.
whose loss profoundly transformed the trajectory of her life after leaving behind a long career in, I'm impressed, criminal justice. She
Mhm.
discovered a new calling in helping others navigate the complex landscape of grief through faith and hope. As an author, business owner, and co founder of a nonprofit organization, Lydia's Love, established in memory of her daughter, Daphne has dedicated her life to being a light in the darkness. God bless you for that, Daphne. For bereaved hearts, her writing focuses on finding the sweeter side of grief and illustrating how faith can transform and restores life after a devastating loss. I love reading this because everybody wants to know who you are. So I'm going to keep reading it. So when she's not writing or supporting other grieving families, Daphne embraces the country lifestyle that she loves, which I'm so, yeah, love to be in the same company with her, spending time with her family, dogs, hunting. We're going to have to talk,
Mhm.
hiking, enjoying the outdoors. She has a particular fondness for chocolate and pomegranates and find so much peace in nature. I think this was saying you were currently working on your new book, but I think that might have already come out. So, Daphne, before you share your story, how did you find Grieving Moms
Oh,
Finding?
that's a good.
Just through Facebook. Facebook is amazing for that kind of thing and groups. I've been a part of another couple of online groups, not currently, like not a regular currently, but in the past. And then I found you guys, and I especially like the hope that because I think that's what we all need is hope. So I
Mhm.
was really drawn to that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Welcome. And so we're just so grateful that you're going to share your story. I know it's always difficult. And I mean, Daphne and I have only spoken a few times together and trying to juggle schedules. And yeah, so thank you for your grace in getting on here. But we cannot wait to hear what God's doing in your life. So yeah, let's wait for you to share.
Thanks for having me.
So yeah, if you want to share your story about your sweet little girl.
Yes. So, back in 2008, well, my daughter Lydia was my firstborn child in 2002. I was 26 years old, and she made me a mom, and completely surprised by that, and so excited. Wonderful, perfect baby. I grew and I learned how to be a mom through her, and it was the best experience ever. And she bloomed into this vibrant, sassy, wild, opinionated, super fun, just so full of life, just a free spirit. But she loved God too. She loved going to church. She was very artistic. Um, did a lot of drawing and dancing and performing, and she was just a ray of sunshine and such a light.
Mm.
She, and I had a son a couple years later, and she was 5, he was 3, and we were in a car accident on our way to work and preschool.
Mm.
And Lydia did not survive that.
Mm.
And my son and I did. He miraculously did not have a scratch on him, and she
Mm.
had some severe head injuries, and I
Mm.
had a minor head injury and a broken elbow.
Mm.
But so that was the day, yeah, that my world completely shattered. I was one that was kind of scared of dying and death before that. Um,
Mm.
didn't like to talk about it, just kind of avoided the subject in all of that. And I don't know why. I guess I'd never been really been exposed to it, or been around it, but it was something that I was kind of fearful of. And I grew up going to church, got my children in church because that was very important to me. Um, and at that moment, I knew that I couldn't do this without God. And I had never felt so hopeless in my life.
Mm.
Yeah,
Sure.
as you mothers can relate
Mm.
to. It's just that I was at the time I was an adult parole officer for a long time, and I was on my way to work, and um, my work family was very amazing. They stepped up and supported me like I never could have asked for more. So that was very wonderful. But after that, I didn't know how to go on that first night coming home from the hospital without her.
Mm.
Um, it was terrifying.
Sure.
And and I think at that point it's like you don't know if you can make it another day. You're paralyzed, in shock, and just can't fathom what's happening.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Um,
sure. Yeah.
yeah. And for me, I was very overwhelmed with guilt. And that hit me
Mm.
immediately because I was driving,
Mhm.
and um, it's something that I had to learn to, I guess, unpack and carry. And I didn't think there was a lot of hope, and the guilt was very heavy all the
Mm.
time. I didn't think I was deserving to live, and I had found a counselor through a divine intervention. I think that was a godsend that kind of miraculously landed in my lap, the name of a therapist. And so I started seeing her, and for those first, I don't know, it was probably the first few months, I just sat in her office and cried, and I couldn't talk. um,
Mm.
but I think I had wanted somebody to tell me, I think, that it was okay and that it wasn't my fault,
Right.
and
Right.
nobody could tell me that.
Yeah.
And when I specifically remember this, I will never forget it. I was in, her waiting room at my therapist's office one day, and I just heard this voice, and it spoke to me, and it just said, "It will be okay." Like
Mm.
just a calm, matter of
Mm.
fact, like, and that's what
Mm.
I needed to hear. And I was like, it was like, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then later in that session, my counselor had told me, she told me what I needed to hear, but I had never told her that what I needed to hear. And she said, it was an accident. Accidents
Mhm.
happen. You will be okay. It will be okay. It doesn't feel like it, but
Mm.
it's not okay right now, but basically it will be okay, and there's hope. So, I mean,
Right.
I think that moment was a pivotal moment for me, um, in my
This
healing.
morning, oh, sorry
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
interrupt. I was just say this
No, go ahead.
morning when you said, I think what I really want to address is guilt. And I was
Yes.
like, I mean, it was this instant, yes, these women need to hear this because it is probably the number one feeling and emotion that we all
Hmm.
have. So I'm so
Yes.
sad that this
Mhm.
was how that you had to you responded to all of this, but it's so
Mhm.
normal, right? At the
Mhm.
same
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to jump in now. Obviously, you were
Yeah.
driving, so maybe there's more
Yes.
layers to that in terms of the guilt, feeling or thinking
Yes.
that. But
Mhm.
that I've learned, studies have shown no matter how a child dies, mothers in general feel some level of guilt, whether that child was sick, whatever it was.
Yeah.
There's just something about being a mother that feels that responsibility, so, but yours had
Yeah.
certainly had more layers, I would imagine. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I think as mothers, we want to protect them. It's our
right.
job. Like, what could we have done different? Why did this happen?
Sure.
They didn't deserve it. Why not me? Like, I begged for God to take me. And it just you just question everything. And then
Sure.
the guilt just kind of it's like a domino effect
Yeah.
right.
as the days move forward, just it just compounds.
And as
But
Jackie always says, it's like self-torture. It's not coming from
yeah,
it's coming from the not a good place, right? The darkness.
it's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
it's really not. And I spent so many nights in the back of my walk-in closet in the dark,
Sure.
and I would just crawl in a little ball and cry
Yeah.
and pray like,
Only imagine.
Lord help me, I can't do this.
Right. Right.
So, and then on top of that, you try to be a parent to your other child or children. It's really hard for
Hmm,
moms.
hmm. Sure.
So were you living down and we're in Eastern Oregon where you are now?
No, I was living in Western Oregon, over just outside of Salem, in a suburb.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I worked in McMinnville. So I commuted about 30 miles each day to work.
Mm,
Oh, wow. That's
So
definitely
that's, yeah,
hmm,
that's where
that's
it happened.
hmm,
it's like when we think about, guilt, I'm always like, imagine carrying this big, backpack filled with rocks. Of course,
mm,
that's what
Mhm.
we always love. Hi, Linda. And then Lisa, I'm going to have you do a shout out here in a minute, but uh,
hmm, hmm.
it's like every mistake and regret and harsh word and
Yeah.
decision. I should have known better. All these
Hmm.
moments, they just keep adding these rocks to your backpack, and over time, it just gets heavier
Yeah.
heavier and heavier, and you become like exhausted. And
Hmm.
yeah, and then it says here, but the strange thing is that guilt often convinces us that carrying the rocks is a sign of responsibility,
Mm.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm.
which it's
Yeah.
it's not. or,
Right.
or that if I keep feeling bad, it proves that I care.
Mm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. Mhm.
so not true.
Mm-mm.
It's not true, but our mind just, plays games with us really bad.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, it's trying
and
to make sense of the thing you
yes.
really can't make sense of, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so hard. And then comes the guilt of, the first time you smile, the first time you laugh, eating their food, their favorite foods. That was a hard one for me.
Mm.
Um,
Man.
and just trying to, be happy. Like, I didn't want to be happy because she couldn't be, she wasn't here. And it was everything.
Sure.
Um,
So how long did you end up like, so you had this aha moment, right?
yeah.
Holy Spirit
Mhm.
gave you, but like how long
Yes.
did you need to continue to see, the therapist to go through a lot of
I
this?
went a good 3 years regularly.
Hmm.
And then I went off and on for a couple more years, just as needed.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, she was amazing.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's God places those people in your life. I'm a firm believer of, at the right time, right place.
right.
So
Yeah.
then, so you were continually having kids because you have five, right? So,
I had two.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
no, I'm saying that in a sense of like,
Yes, yes.
how was that,
So
when you would get
it was
pregnant, right?
it was wild. I wasn't really planning on having kids, more kids. But
Mm,
I had my next son about a year afterwards, and it was very hard.
sure.
And my son that was in the accident with this, he had struggled with it as well, and he kept just saying, "Well, he's just gonna die." And it was a whole thing,
Mm,
trying to explain all of that to him, and trying to keep myself sane.
Mm,
But when, it was a lot of worry, fear and worry, tangled up in the pregnancies, even with the other as well, the other two. But they've been a blessing, and I know
Sure.
that they're supposed to be here. God wanted them here, and I'm so grateful for them.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a shout out real quick. We have welcome Johanna and Karen, Missy. Hi, Missy. Julie, Tammy, Melissa from Pennsylvania. We had somebody from Australia, Dolly from Australia, Tammy, Lisa, another Lisa, and Linda Martin. Hi, guys. Thanks for
Wonder
joining us
I
tonight.
wonder if the Dolly from
Australia, yeah.
Australia, if she knows Diane. You can
Yeah,
let us.
type in if you do know Diane from Australia. She's one of our leaders in Australia.
And welcome to Lori, and Alicia is on
Oh, I
here.
see that now. Yeah.
Alicia is such a dear. It's well,
Like
it's
her.
a long story, but not. But I'm just so grateful to see you out there, Alicia. And hi, Wendy, and I think I said Lori too. It's so wonderful to see the women that are continually coming on here over the years. And I
Mm.
know that a lot of you guys have heard we're giving books away when you comment and everything. So you never know. I will tell you tonight is not the night I'm going to give a book away, but I'm going to do these pop raffles. So we're trying to encourage you guys so that we can see where you're viewing from, because you never know if there's another mama
Mm.
that is going to be in your area that you guys can connect with. So, and it really does help to be in a community together like that. So thanks to all of you guys that are doing that. Anyway, so when did the Lord put it on your heart to start this whole nonprofit for Lydia?
Can you restate that? My
Could you? Oh,
cut out.
that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, no, no. So when did God put it on your heart to start this ministry or this nonprofit for Lydia? How does that?
So it was about a year and a half after she had passed away. And I was trying to, I was at the point where I needed to do something with all of my grief and my energy and just my mind. I needed a project, and I needed something. I needed her. Of course, we all don't want our children to be forgotten.
Right,
And
right.
that was a big fear for me as well. And
Mm.
I wanted to just find something that would honor Lydia, but also give back and help others. And I, Lydia loved parties and people and socializing. And um, I had came across another organization in Colorado that did birthday parties for homeless children.
Mm.
And I love that idea. So I reached out to that lady, and we got together and chatted, and she basically helped me and walked me through the processes of starting a nonprofit. And so my best friend and I started the nonprofit in Salem, Oregon, called Lydia's Love. And we started it in 2011 and did birthday parties for a lot of the homeless children in the multiple shelters there.
That is
We did a
awesome.
monthly parties. Yeah, it was great. And then,
Mm.
as things changed, that went on for many years, and some of the shelters closed. We did birthdays in a box and just kind of granted special birthday wishes for children in need.
That is so amazing. I love
Really?
that. I mean,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
thought of that, right? You.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was amazing. And it still is. It's still an active nonprofit, just not as, full speed ahead. But yeah, it's a wonderful thing, and it brings so much joy to give back to others. It really does, and
Mm.
it's so healing.
Yeah.
Boy, don't we know and love that, right?
Ah, that's amazing. And unfortunately, a lot of the moms, we have older children. So being a young
Huh?
child and finding that niche to give back
Mhm.
is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Well, tell us about here's like the book. So
Yeah.
I'm throwing it up there for you guys, and you can get this book on Amazon. Tell us about how that started.
So this recent book we published in November, it's something that I think God had put on my heart many years ago, and it was um, something I really believed in, that it's not just one story, not just my story. I wrote a book of my own story, and lessons learned back in 2018 or 19 it was. Um, But this one, I wanted it to be a collection of stories from other moms because I believe that is so powerful. Um, and I reached out to multiple moms, and there was 23 of them that joined in this book, and each one shared their story of their child, their tragedy, as they were comfortable with, as well as little things, little slivers of hope that help them move, keep going, you know.
Mm.
Um, and it's a lot of them are faith-based stories. Not all of them, because I know every mom is different, and it's just
Mm.
a very heartwarming, real, authentic book, with short little entries from 23 different moms about finding hope through their loss.
It's almost like a little chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh. I love
yeah,
that.
I think
yeah.
that's so important because so many moms think they're alone, and when they see that others have
Right.
actually surfaced, and yes, that's great.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely been a blessing, and to
Hmm.
collaborate and meet with those other moms as well, and share the
Sure.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've
Yeah.
got another one, correct?
Yeah, I did
Three.
a short little Mother's Day book with some other moms that were not in this book. So we did 7 days of hope for grieving mothers, and that was just a mini little Mother's Day kind of book, which was great.
Mm.
And same type of style. And then my original book is called Barely Breathing: 10 Secrets to Surviving Loss of Your Child.
Wow.
That's
And that
great.
was, yeah, that was my first one. So I found writing to be an outlet for myself. And it just kind of helped me declutter my brain and get clarity, and just it was very healing, and it still is. And I love to write and share and just find ways to bring hope, because I know what it's like to have no hope.
Mm.
Yeah.
and 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 s- and spread like the love of God and what he has done for me, and that he will do for others. And just know that we're not alone in this, because it
Hmm.
is so lonely.
Yeah.
Where does a mama with all these beautiful children find time to write? What do people say?
I I don't know. I just do. I
Yeah.
do, like, I get little random thoughts in my head, so I have a little note section on my phone that's always open, and I just jot down a few notes that flood into my mind, and I come back to them later, weeks later sometimes, and I just kind of, as I have time, or if the house is empty for a while, I'll sit down with my laptop and write a little bit, but just kind of piecemeal together, honestly. It
Right.
doesn't just come right out.
Is it stem a lot from your own journaling, or is it like a go into a Word document and just start typing away?
Um, it started as journaling because I did start that early on,
Uh-huh.
after Lydia passed away. I did my counselor had suggested that, and I journaled for 2 years pretty regularly, and that was very helpful. And then
Mm.
as time moved forward, I just kind of do the Word document thing. But one thing I would love to encourage other moms to try to journal, or to write down those
Thank
things they
you,
don't want to.
Daphne.
I know some people aren't into that, but even if you
Yes.
try it, for me, it started as there's things about Lydia I didn't want to forget, and I was so scared to
Right.
forget.
Hmm.
Her little freckles on her arms,
Oh.
just the sound of her voice, her funny little
Mm.
sayings, I tried to write those down.
Yeah.
And then it evolved to dreams that I had that I didn't want to forget.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
that kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. So you want to capture all those things, because
Yeah.
you hang on to them. They're just little pieces of them.
Sure. Oh, there
There's
Yeah.
you go. There's a picture. Oh, how
baby
cute.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's just in this ministry, it's when you see a picture,
Hmm.
it's just hard to fathom that like they're
Yeah.
here and then they're just
They're
not.
not here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks like kind
Just
of a mini
yeah.
me there, Daphne.
She's a mini me for sure. She was,
Yeah.
yeah, very, very, she would get up and dress herself. Nobody would tell her what to wear. She would wear the most mismatched wild outfits, and just thought she was beautiful. And she had the confidence and of, I don't, it was just, it was
Yeah.
beaming. So yeah, I
Yeah.
really miss her. And we always wonder, who they would be today, and
Mm.
Well,
you
well,
know.
can I also ask, I know that
Yeah.
you and I have spoken about like your group of moms that's in your area. And
Hmm.
so are you now you guys are still meeting pretty regularly or
We did an 8 week session, and that was it. I'm kind of remote in the middle of nowhere, in
Mhm.
Eastern Oregon, so there's not a lot of in-person meetings.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So I try to, connect whenever I can, with moms online, or, if I'm in a town that has a meeting. But um, yeah, I think that also is a huge piece of the healing journey, is
Sure.
connecting with others that have walked this journey.
I
Yeah.
mean, how amazing it's like, I said earlier when we were praying and it's like, you have women and then you have the women that are like, I am going to do something about this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like I see that you have just
Mhm.
followed God's calling in so many areas. How did you find these ladies? How did you start gathering them together? I
I
you,
just some of them I had knew from, like, just other retreats I had been on, 10 years ago.
Mhm.
It's been 17, almost 18 years since
Mm.
she had passed away. And a handful were, a couple of close friends that, lost children after I had. And other ones I had just kind of researched,
Mhm.
moms that have lost children out there. And then I reached out to some strangers.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
did the same thing with
did
my
you?
first group, and I was like, "What
Okay.
am I doing?" I'm looking at obituaries and things, but then people would call me, "Oh, did you hear so and so?" And before I knew it, I
Oh,
had 6
mhm.
moms in a group, so
Wow.
it is something, but
Well,
it's also, a comfort to know that you can be part of that group, that connection.
hmm,
Can you speak
yeah.
to I mean, we have that in our ministry,
Hmm.
that's a huge part, so it just means a lot.
It really does. And I
Mhm.
think that for me, it was, I needed that connection, and I
Mm,
needed to find those moms. And I was
yeah,
like, I need hope, and I know other people need hope. So we're going to find it. Like, we're not, and then I read my Bible all the time, and I really
mhm,
dove into that because I needed to remind myself, of God's promises, like the
right,
truth. Like, I
I
had
love
to
that.
reinvent my brain almost every morning, like,
right,
reminders, his mercies are new every morning. You have to cover yourself with the truth, because your mind's going to go down
mm,
awful rabbit holes all the time.
yeah,
And it's like, no, this is God doesn't want me to hang on to this guilt for the rest of my life.
no,
That's
mm-mm,
not what this is
right,
about. No. So it was a lot of that, self-reflection, and just really letting that sink in.
right, and talking to
um
people who get, the grief,
yes.
Right.
because
Yes.
I initially, I think I said I went to grief share and then compassionate friends are
Mhm.
great,
Yeah.
but then once you
Yes.
say, like there's something special about having moms only, I think,
Yes.
not that, it's just a different loss, I think,
Well, and what
Yeah.
I'm getting from Daphne and a handful of other women is that you really have to be intentional.
yeah,
A lot
hmm,
of times after the loss of a child, you don't want to be intentional at finding hope. You're just
No.
numb, as we say here, or
hmm,
frozen.
hmm,
You don't want to do anything, but it's like
Mhm.
what can you say to the mom that is just stuck,
Yeah.
mm,
you
yeah,
know?
Yeah. And that's where I was at. Like, I was
hmm,
there, and I was like, there's got to be some good. I had to start, like, like you said, intentionally looking for the
right,
blessings in my life. Like,
mm,
I'm alive, I'm breathing today, you know, I'm able to walk, the sun is up, it's beautiful. Like, I had to really, like, focus on the little things
mm,
that were blessings, and write those down, just to so I had something in my
yeah,
hand that I could really be like, yeah, okay, there is a little bit of glimmer there, that there's light
Exactly,
in
exactly.
that darkness.
Well,
sure,
as we circle back to the big topic, which is guilt, right?
mm,
Yeah.
And I think what we're always trying to communicate, and it's very sensitive to tell a grieving mom that everybody's days are numbered, and in Job
Yeah.
14:5, it says, "A person's days are determined, and you have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot exceed." And then in Psalm 139:16, "Your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be." And it's hard to tell a grieving mom that, well, this was the amount of time that your child was supposed to be here, which
Hmm.
in turn it's frustrating, but at the same time, it also is intended to tell us that we're not that powerful,
Mm,
as I know Lisa's daughter has told her, that
Hmm.
we're not God. And
Hmm.
when God says, it's time, their mission
mm,
is up, it's not fair to a mother, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tragically, yours was an accident. There's a lot of
Hmm.
accidents in the ministry. We have
Hmm.
the suicides, we have the stillborns, and we have the illnesses, and we have the fentanyl poisonings, and all of the things. And we live in this fallen world, and no, we don't
Hmm.
have control. I have just talked to a woman, not that long ago, that was just going over and over the same thing about, like,
mm,
well, if I would have,
mm,
all the details. And I'm like, how long are you going to
Hmm.
keep telling yourself that?
mm,
Hmm.
Because you're really stuck in that place. And we want to say this. First of all, we hear you guys. We really
Hmm.
do hear you. And you can't explain it. But at the end of the day, the moment that you start surrendering over this guilt and all of these areas that are blockades for you to move forward, that's when he comes in and says, "Okay, are you ready to trust me?
mm,
Hmm.
Ready to trust me." I just watched the movie, The Shack, with a friend that came into town.
Oh
mm,
gosh.
mm,
Hmm.
And,
mm,
of course, we know it's not straight from the Bible. However, it's like, forget that. That is just an
Yeah.
example. The message that was taken away was pretty much for me just to trust, and that we don't have that kind
Hmm.
of control, because that man in that
Hmm.
movie was
Yeah.
feeling so guilty that
Yeah.
and so is his daughter, because she stood up in the canoe, and then, everybody
Yeah.
fell out of the kayak or the canoe, and then he had to go get it. And the little girl, I want to give it away, but it's like all those
Yeah.
circumstances.
mm,
And God just was like, that's what, but he lived with that for years, and negative
mm,
coping
Yeah.
devices. And I just, my heart goes out to all of you that are in that place where there are negative coping devices. These are things that can be healed, my
Hmm.
friends. You
yeah,
can't just,
because well, I was going to say, because you're just torturing yourself. Nothing's going to bring them back, sadly. And to do that, that ruminating, we call that our spin drift thoughts, just rounded around, don't serve any purpose. But and as hard as it is, your daughter was what, 5 or 6 when she
She was
passed?
5,
She was
5.5. Yeah.
5, and it's
Hmm.
so out of order, right? We
You're
never,
right.
ever, ever expect,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
the guilt, the parent thing, but also saying, it's out of order, but it's also, I think we've done this in our groups, that we change the it only if I did this to even
Yeah.
if, because
Hmm.
we know, sadly, that's the time. I think right after my son passed, he was only 28, but
Mm.
did live a little, up to 28, but still very young. And a
Yeah.
doctor had said to me, there's somebody, Tibetan monks, who gauge the day you're born, and they somehow, I don't know, they know, they said it's written the day you're born, and,
Hmm.
and it's true, you know
Hmm.
to realize that we don't have that power,
yeah,
right?
no, we
Yeah.
don't.
So
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. We
no
don't.
matter how, when, how old, all of it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if there's any time in your life that you really need to develop a relationship with Jesus, it's now.
Hmm.
And give him everything. Give him your anger, give him
Hmm.
your bitterness, give him your frustration, give him all of the things that you're experiencing right now. But just give him that chance, because he wept with you. And
Mm.
that is also communicated in the movie. Lisa, let's do a shout out really quick
Yeah.
here to,
Yeah, we have Adri's on here, Kimberly, Jill, hi Jill, Linda Martin again, Lacey, Vicky Birth from Delaware, and Patricia Fell. So that's it on my screen. Are there any more? Sometimes you have more, Jackie. I
yeah,
don't know
let's see,
why.
Kathy. I love that we've got Maryland and Wendy from Buffalo, New York, and Florida.
Hmm.
And I mean, it's just amazing and sad at the same time for me to see
Hmm.
these mamas. But thanks, you guys, for
Yeah.
being here. And I
Oh,
really do
yeah.
know that my heart is always about, I'd love to get everybody together in one location and just go around and give hugs
Mm,
for about 16 hours.
Yeah.
And yet what we can do is we can bring it to a place of about 50 women and get them to go to a retreat. And, gosh, I would love to have you go to the retreat, Daphne, if you ever can get away. That is
I'd
yeah.
love to.
October 1st through the 4th in Aquilo, Texas. And I think we have a few spots left there. And this is just a big, huge Holy Spirit driven weekend that there are so many, we just can't make things up. It
Mm-mm.
just happens at these retreats, and it's going to be at a beautiful retreat center. There's still time to sign up for that. And hi, Cindy, and hi, Mary Lou, and Vicky, and Lacey from Scottsdale. I had a friend in Scottsdale. In fact, we did our retreat close to
Oh,
Scottsdale.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful area. So, Daphne,
Yeah.
I don't know what to sum it all up. Like, what is the message that you want to give a mom? I mean, you've had many years to walk this journey, and it's been different for you and all the things. And but what would be a message that you would want to share with these moms on the program tonight?
That while it may seem dark and hopeless and horrific, which it absolutely is, and we want to acknowledge that, like, 100%. And sit with that. We do, as long as you need. But there is hope, there is light, and keeping that eternal perspective. I
Ooh,
think
that's
putting
good.
every is huge. Like for me, I do that every day. Like it's just a common practice. If something's going wrong and I'm having a bad day, I keep thinking, you know what? Someone else out there is having a worse day than me.
Mm,
And, you know, God is good. He's got these promises, like in the grand scheme of things, in this world, like we're temporary and it's short our time here. And I really think that's been huge for me. And I think it could be very helpful if people are open-minded to that,
mm,
and just put things in perspective. God knows what he's doing. He's with us. He never leaves us. And, we're one day closer to being reunited,
Amen.
you
Amen.
know.
mm,
That's beautiful,
Yeah.
Daphne. And I have to say that I'll share. I'd love
Mhm.
to. I just cleaned out my walk-in closet for the. I don't know. You know how we have to do that. We have to go in with like the big bulldozer a couple times a year to get rid of things we just don't need. And I went in there and I could sit there without having to look around, going, "Oh my gosh, I got to clean it." But it's quiet, it's dark, and I literally put on like instrumental praise and worship music, and I closed my
Oh,
eyes and I just picture him just walking toward me and
mm,
his hand on my shoulder and talking to me
mm,
because you guys, he is alive. He's
mm,
alive and well, and he wants to be there for you for every moment that you're there. And I have to say, give him all of the details. And the beautiful thing that happened was this past weekend. Yesterday was my birthday. I'm not asking for birthday things, but I want you to know it was the most beautiful birthday because I have these adventure friends. We went on this hike to Green Lakes Trail, which is below South Sister here in Bend, Oregon, as well as Broken Top. It was like heaven on earth. But we
mm,
were taking my huskies who love to pull. That's what they do, and I already had in my mind that from May on till October we had to have them on a leash. And I
mm,
knew that for 10 miles, I was like, all right, I got to just deal with this, but it's beautiful. So we prayed before we got to the trailhead in the parking lot. We walk, and I prayed, Lord, wouldn't it be just amazing if there was a spot that we didn't have to have the dogs on leash, right? We literally walk a couple hundred feet, and there is a sign there that said, dogs off leash starting July 15th through September
wow.
or October. And of course, it was June 14th. And I was like, did you guys see that? Did you see the sign? We just prayed this prayer. And now we don't have, and so I unhooked them and they just took off. And it was just the most incredible day. And why am I telling you that? Because you can pray. for the littlest things. And to me, that was a huge thing. He's like, I got you.
Mm.
I got you.
Yeah.
You're going to enjoy this. I'm going to give you this little gift to enjoy, because there was a stream the entire way up. The dogs could jump in the water. And the other side of
Mm,
that is, you guys get out,
Mm.
enjoy nature, take
Mhm.
a walk. That is
yes.
part of the healing, wherever that is, whatever that looks like. You're not too old, you're not too busy. There's always an excuse to be able to not do something. You guys have
Hmm.
lost a child. Some of you have
Yes.
lost multiple children, and my
Mhm.
heart goes out to you. And I
Mhm.
just want you to know that you've got to take care of yourself, because,
Mhm.
again, using the word intentional, you need to be intentional to take care of yourself, because no one else is going to do it. When they see you have free time, somebody's going to ask you to do something. And usually, as a mom, you're going to say, okay, I'll do that. And
Mhm.
this is a serious thing. It affects you from the head down to your toes, mentally, emotionally, just everything physically. And look at the lives like those of Daphne's, that has been intentional to seek the Lord, to be able to ask for help during this time. She immediately went to counsel. She knew
Mhm.
that something was not right. And God does have those people to take care of us, you guys. Hi, Debbie and Tammy and Tracy and I think it's Marilu.
Mhm.
So, thank you, Daphne, for sharing. And you guys, God bless her. She's in her car. I know it's a hot day. And I have to send you
I
a
got the air
gas
conditioning.
card. I have to send you a gas card because your car's running.
Yeah, I got the air conditioning on though. I'm good.
Oh
Oh,
my
that's funny.
Well, we want to again say thank you for sharing your story, and I hope that the Lord has got something we can bring us together in another way,
Yeah.
because we are technically we were pretty geographically close together, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Yeah, pretty much.
and my prayer is that you're going to be able to get away October 1st through the 4th out to Texas for a retreat, because I know that you'll be welcomed with lots of love and from all these other ladies. Lisa,
Yeah, yeah, if you're just joining us, I mean, I think we have 4 or 5 openings still for the retreat if you wanna jump in. You go on our website, Grieving Moms, Finding Hope.
no, no, just
Uh, oh, yeah,
grievingmoms.com.
sorry, yeah, grievingmoms.com.
Uh,
Getting late here at the East Coast. And look under retreats, and it's there. You can also join a group. We have many outreaches. Jackie wrote her book, and please, I would encourage you to get that. It's an encouragement. I read it. Many of us have read it in one sitting for the whole day, and it's called Landslide: A Journey Through Unthinkable Grief.
okay, I do have it here
Unshakable
because
Grief.
I
And
just loaned it to a
there
friend.
it is.
There it is, yes.
Yeah. So please do yourself a favor, read that, find some hope. Everyone has a story, and this story is courageous and shows you the love of Jesus and what it brought Jackie through in starting this ministry, and how many moms we've helped and just have connected and found some hope. And we've talked about the hope today because hope is the link that helps us carry through day by day. Just have hope for today, and then tomorrow and each day. Just wake up and know that you're not alone in this. So
Amen to
reach
that.
out to us. So
Well,
anything else, or we're good?
and I was going to say just really quick is that I'm not, God has really told me that I need to stay humble, which I am with
Mm,
regards to this book. But I have to
no.
say, you guys, that the response has been, and it's not just from people that know me, they said that they do get through it very quickly.
Mm,
And the reason I'm staying humble is because I just know that my job was to write it,
mm,
put those words on that paper, and to share it and to tell people
Hmm.
about it, and not to be shy about it, because
Hmm.
the book has got God in it all through it. And I want to help people because I can't be everywhere at every place. And so, and by the way, I am a little bit fatigued from telling the story, but it is, there's a lot of hope and encouragement in it. So, and I guess I'm going to also say, in order to continue to get it out to the world,
mm,
you do purchase the book on Amazon,
right.
please, would you do a review on it, no matter what that review is, because it helps to get it out of the basement and into the main living spaces so that people can find it. Because otherwise, there's a lot of books that are out there that are
Mhm.
phenomenal books that are out there. But I just
Um,
that I know that he wants me to pass it on to as many people, because it's not an average story for sure.
No. No, and you know, and I've heard the story from Jackie a few times, you know, bits and pieces here and there, and then the whole story. But to read it and to know her story, and just to know how she lives with hope and inspiration, has been. And for me, that was the big question early on. How does anybody ever get through this? And then when I
Yeah.
found this ministry and this, okay, I can do this today. I can do it tomorrow. You know, each day. So
Yes,
thank
and
you,
also you can
thank you.
look up Daphne's. Thank you,
Yeah,
Lisa.
Daphne's book as well. If you want
Daphne's
to,
books are on her name is in the comments here, but I will also edit the Facebook post and put your full name in there, Daphne. And thank you for your courage and your strength,
yes.
your ability to want to help God shine the light into the darkness. You're doing an amazing job, and may God continue to bless.
Mm.
Lydia's not, is it a nonprofit?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they're a nonprofit, and to give those birthday parties to the homeless kids.
What an amazing thing.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you for having me.
yeah, and so anyway, yeah, I will send you a gas card since you've had your car on this whole time.
I'm good. We're great.
Yeah. Well, God bless all of you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. And you know what? You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Get involved, groovingmoms.com, and we'll see you next week. Take care.